What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, thank you all for joining me for another video. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Drew Brees. As you know, he became the NFL passing leader, and he surpassed Favre and Manning in the same game. You know, they are only like 100 yards apart from each other. So he passed them both in the same game, and he did it in prime time on Monday night to cap off the week. And not only that, but he did it in grand fashion. He got the record on the 62-yard touchdown pass. You know, I mean, what a way to get the record. And it's almost like the league knew something when they were sketching that game at Monday night. So I don't think they could have written a better script. But just want to say congratulations to Drew Brees. And it's a proud moment for the Who Dat Nation. And you know, this franchise, the Saints haven't had very many proud moments, and this ranks up at the top of them. But to the video. Now, as we all know, that Kanye West is, ever since he supported Trump, he's been ostracized by black people because, in other words, he had the audacity to leave the plantation, and with the crabs in a bucket mentality, they want to pull everybody back. But he left the plantation. He supported Donald Trump, and ever since he's been ostracized by blacks. Well, he just recently had this conference with Trump in the White House, and no surprise, black folks have gone unhinged, as if they weren't already unhinged before. I mean, how can you get any more unhinged with these social justice warriors? You know, and they all are out to get him. All the race hustlers, all the brainwashed blacks, just hating on him. And one such people is Don Lemon. You know, he's a host on CNN. Well, he had a panel of people on his show. Well, two of those people were a black female and a black male, and I didn't even bother to look up the name. Why bother? Look up their names. When the black female said that, you know, the typical, he's a token Negro for Donald Trump, right? As if both him and her and a black guy, like they're not tokens for the Democrats, keeping black folks on the plantation. And she said that in the next draft, they were going to trade Kanye West. I'm guessing to the white team or whatever. But the black dude who was on the show said that Kanye West is an example of Negroes when Negroes don't read. Now, since I'm of the same likewise mind as Kanye West, then I guess that makes me also a Negro that doesn't read. So my question to this fool is, you know, what exactly is us unread Negroes, quote unquote, what exactly is it that we're not reading? Could it possibly be the true history of the Republicans and the Democrats? The fact that the Republican Party was founded as an abolitionist party with a platform of the abolishment of slavery? Could it be that they fought against slavery? They stood up against segregation and Jim Crow? Perhaps maybe because we're not reading the fact that they founded the NRA as a method of arming blacks to protect themselves against the KKK. What about the Democrats? What about the fact that they were pro-segregation, pro-slavery? They fought to preserve slavery. They were the party of the segregation, Jim Crow. They were the party of the Southern Dixiecrats that we often hear these liberals cry about. There was a party that basically created the Great Society, which absolutely decimated the black community. And they always claim to care for the blacks, but in reality they don't give a damn about blacks. Lest they would do something about all these poor, impoverished urban areas that they always complain about that have been democratically run for decades. You know, if they cared about blacks, they would do something about these urban areas. Well, at least blacks would have enough sense to say, well, wait, if we've been run by Democrats all these decades, perhaps maybe we should try something new. Anyway, there have been, again, of all the blacks who came against Kanye West, who's criticizing him, I can guarantee you, now one of them, or only a small percentage of them, have actually listened to the whole press conference to see what he said. You know, most of them are operating based upon that 10-second clip that was spoon-fed to them by the mainstream media. And I've never heard one single black person come out and say, hey, This is what he said, and here's the evidence to prove you wrong. Or he said that, and here's the facts and the evidence to prove that he's wrong. They're all just following the herd mentality and attacking him only and solely because he supports Trump. Now, when he said George Bush don't care about black people, everybody loved him then. But then the thing is, though, as far as this whole idea that black people are the unread Negroes, I completely agree. We are a bunch of Negroes who don't read teleprompters because we have our own mind. We think for ourselves, as opposed to the Don Lemon. And what I find funny though is that he tried to, this whole Negroes that don't read, which is not funny. That he tried to make up this fake laugh that was completely unfunny, and the chick laughed as well. I'm like, now they just laughing at nonsense. But anyway, I would love for the guy who's on there, as well as anybody else who believe that we're a bunch of unread Negroes, to explain to us exactly what is it that we should be reading, or what history, present, past, that we should be reading. That's what I want to know. And I would love for anyone to point out exactly what Kanye West said that's wrong, because I actually listened to the whole press conference, about maybe 20 minutes or so, and he said some very interesting things. Some things that I didn't agree with. I don't agree that we need to empower the pharmaceutical industry, considering that they're probably the most, I would say, the most powerful lobby in the world. So that's not necessary. But he said a lot of interesting things that I agree with. But I would love for anyone to point out something he said that was wrong. And as always, until next time. Again, I would just like to say that I can't commend Kanye West more for what he's doing, for being brave enough to come out and tell the truth, And he had to know he was going to be attacked by black people. Again, he had to know this, but he did it anyway. I mean, just look at what they did to Steve Harvey. I mean, he just said, all he said was, hey, let's just sit down and see what the man had to say. And they went after him like he was a damn antichrist, I've known of Steve Harvey for years. He's been out here for years, and we haven't heard nothing about Steve Harvey negative. Suddenly he say, let's just see what the man have to say, and then he became the most evilest person in the world, Oh, they basically say was going on and on about how he left his first wife for the second wife, and how all these years he had been cheating and ripping off other artists and stabbing other artists in the back and so on and so forth. Nobody had nothing to say all these years, but suddenly now they had all these evil things to say about Steve Harvey. And they went after him so hard, he ran back to the plantation. He would have beat Usain Bolt in the 100 meter. If Steve Harvey was on the track team, they would have been disqualified because he would have left the damn baton. He would have ran off without the baton. That's just how bad it was. And like I said, I just wish if more black people would come out and speak out against the nonsense, it would make it easier for other black people, such as Jim Brown, because he was also at the press conference. He was at the White House. And I believe he's been out there for years. And even Herschel Walker had to come to Kanye West's defense, saying how the Unread Negro comment was ridiculous, and how really all the attacks against him is just ridiculous. And it is ridiculous. But if more black people would come out, it would just make it easy for so many other black folks to come out. It really would. Because the more people come out, then basically there will be no pain toward doing it. And the empty threats from all the race hustlers will be basically nonsense. And that's all it is really truly empty threats. So like I said, I would commend Kanye West and don't let the nonsense from all these race hustlers stop you from speaking the truth and having your own mind.